Dial 105.1 is the Breakfast Club, and we got a special guest in the building.
Yes, sir. Our guy, David Banner.
From MI, cricket letter I, cricket letter SS, cricket.
No, you did it all wrong. You did it all wrong. It's MI, cricket letter I, cricket letter I, humpback I.
There you go.
Yes, it is.
You got to be from the South to know that.
Roll
off your tongue like that, bro.
David Banner's here. What up, Banner?
Man, wonderful. What's cracking?
Look at this book already. Think and Grow Rich. And he got everything bookmarked and everything.
He ain't got to worry about that.
Doing.
Oh no, Banner got it.
Already.
People don't realize how much Banner gets behind the scenes. People think when you don't see you on the scene that you're not eating.
Yeah,
but Banner getting it.
It was funny, bro. Like these last 2 years been the best years of my life, dog. Like honestly, I mean, I opened up 3 different businesses. I got a scoring house now where I score movies. I partially scored the new Footloose movie that was just out. Wow. In the last 2 years, I've done music and commercials for Gatorade, Mercedes, Benz, Marvel, Capcom.
Nice.
I mean, and the list goes on, bro.
Wow.
Nice.
Every Gatorade commercial you saw last year,
that was dope.
all of them. I did every Gatorade commercial you saw.
That's great because I remember that you were financially messed up for a little while, and I guess you got everything.
Well, no, I wouldn't necessarily say.
You donated a lot of money.
Yeah, I donated a lot of money. Just to help out during Katrina. Mm-hmm. I would necessarily say messed up, but I did make a lot of sacrifices for my people. But I never hold my head down for that because God puts you through certain things to make you a better man, and sometimes it's bigger than just money. And I think during that time, that was my place. You know what I'm saying?
You're very vocal about things, man. I would love for kids to get that message that you don't always have to be in front of the camera in order to make bread in this industry.
Actually, the people that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come up here and talk was because actually the people who really make the money, like they distract us and get us into fame, and we want to be famous. But you think about the artists who have held a lot of these companies up, one person in particular, and I'm not gonna call their name, I seen them in LA homeless, and I know for a fact that they were the reasons why one of these companies didn't fold. You know what I'm saying? Their record actually helped that company get past, their debt, and then, they don't have no health care plans. Right. They don't, at least give them a job.
But you know what, Banner, is it the company's fault or is it the way we spend our money's fault? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we get millions of dollars. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, is it the company's fault that we don't invest our money right and do the right things with our money and go out there and buy jewelry, cars, and some
a
of the
lot of
things
people
that
aren't raised knowing how to invest their money and how to deal with finances,
But whose
especially if
fault was that,
your
though?
parents didn't teach you.
I didn't know how to ride. I didn't know anything about money when I was growing up.
I also think it's not about us knowing our worth in the beginning, because we sell off a lot. I mean, you think about a lot of the deals that these kids are getting right now because they don't know, and right. Nobody's telling them, like, $70,000 for a 360 deal, you selling off most of your life. At one point I signed off my likeness. I didn't even own the way that I looked.
Right.
But we don't know that aspect of business. We don't have people to come. Like what I did was I went back to Mississippi. I'm talking to the kids. I'm letting them know they have my number. If you end up getting these deals, call me and let me. A lot of times we don't know until it's too late.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't know your worth, and you come from the hood, so they throw you, a couple $100,000 or $1 million, and you may look at that like that's more money than I ever had in my life. But in the greater scheme of things, somebody else is making $80-90 million, and you getting a meal, and for you that's a lot, but it's until later you feel like, well, okay, well, all right, I got a meal, but I'm actually worth, and what I brought to this company is millions and millions of dollars, and I only got a fraction of that.
Right.
So it's partially because we're not in the environment to learn those types of things.
And sometimes people are very desperate to get on too. Like
Right.
They want to get a deal, they get offered something, and they jump at the opportunity because they don't know if they're going to get that chance again. So they're like, look, this is the deal, I'm going to take it because I just want to sign to a label.
Absolutely. So how can we, Banner, empower ourselves financially in 2012?
Well, what's amazing is the way that I'm putting out my new record. It's a movement called 2 in 1, and I actually was influenced by Louis C.K. And the thing is, what I'm trying to show people is that if we think about it, the people who feel the most helpless right now in the music industry are the fans and the artists. And think about it. The fans and the artists are the most important people in this equation. And when I say artists, I don't mean just the rappers. I mean the DJs. I mean the graphic artists. I mean even the urban DJs. Think about it. Like, You now have people to the point where you walk in the clubs and you got dudes with laptops, not even mixing.
Right.
Like, and the people who really set the foundation for it don't even get those checks that they used to get.
Right.
You know, I mean, let's just us be honest about hip hop and where it is right now. The reason why we're still able to talk and we're still here is because of our outside businesses. I know your hustle, homie. Like, the DJing part is a very, 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 very small part of it. Right. And we actually still do those things to stay in contact with our people.
It's still relevant, right?
You know, but the thing is, we have to bring some type of relevance back to our music. So I came up with this situation that's called 2 in 1. With my new album, Sex, Drugs, and Video Games, what I'm telling people is, I'm like, listen, I'm getting 2 million people to donate at least $1 at davidbanner.com. You getting 16 songs, A$AP Rocky, Snoop Dogg, Lil Wayne, 2 Chainz, Game, Nipsey Hussle. I mean, it goes on and on and on, the list of artists that I got on this album, and you're getting 16 videos. Every week we dropping a song, then a video, new song, then a video, new song, then a video, to also show people that it's not one of the records that, and that's one of the problems too. We gave people singles, and then folks got the album, and the album was whack.
Right.
And we blame it on the internet, but that's not the case. Country music wasn't affected by the internet. You know, we look at the numbers that Adele is doing, but look at the stuff on the hip-hop level or something that has to do with people from urban situations. We selling 8,000, 10,000 when other genres of music are not affected.
Right.
Because number one, we put out bad music,
That's
very
hot
true.
singles and bad music, and then we gave it away with free albums, and they're not mixtapes. Let's stop saying
Right.
mixtapes, because they're not mixtapes. They're real songs, whole albums, mixed and mastered, and we're giving them away.
Right.
So the thing is, we have to start paying for something. There is no value. Think about a woman or a man that we ever had, you know, close relations with, and we didn't have to work with them. Did we ever call them back? Did we ever have respect for them?
Right.
Now, you don't buy the cow when you get the milk for free.
Imagine getting Jay-Z's second album for free. What you would have thought about that album. No, it was waiting for that album to come out. It was waiting for the video. It was going to the record store. It was hollering at your homeboys trying to get at it. It was the whole process. And when you paid that money, it made you feel good about it. If we would have got those albums for free, Outkast for free, Tribe Called Quest for free, we wouldn't have no respect and the admiration that we have for those artists.
Right.
We got to start paying. www.davidbanner.com.
Yeah, but
Let's
you
go.
know, I understand that, and there's certain artists that I have no problem paying for, and like you mentioned Jay-Z, and I mean even to Nas, to I mean we could talk about artists now when it comes to Kanye West or it comes to Rick Ross or it comes to Jeezy. You know, I don't have a problem paying for those artists, but then it's sometimes, like you said, I get a joint, and it's a good it's a good, the single is good, and then the rest of the stuff is trash. So it's like, why should I spend, and money's tight right now for everybody, so why should I spend $10, $15 on somebody's album when the album is trash? And then when somebody's album does 15,000 or 1,500 units, you know, they say, oh, people don't support. No, because the music is whack.
Well, that's not the case in across the board. The music industry is dying. So I understand that there's exceptions to the rule, but what you have to understand about most of those exceptions is because they have crossed over. And it's not really about our generation, or it's not really about our culture, because they have crossed over, and they've crossed over to another crowd of people. So in saying that, they're able to make those decisions, and they are those exceptions. So you have those 4 or 5 artists. What about the mass amount of great artists who are being whose career is basically over?
Right.
You know, we can name about 30 artists. And I told somebody, it was funny, we will give these exceptions, like 4 artists, but just 5, 6, 7 years ago, there were 4 or 5 Jeezys, there were 4 or 5 Rick Rosses, there were 4 or 5 Lil Waynes. 5 years before that, it was 10 of them.
Right.
So it's to the point now where we have to look at the culture and stop.
There's no creativity though
Well,
anymore. And it's like right now you're getting, like you said, another Jeezy. You're getting another Rick Ross. You're getting another DMX. But think about the times when music was better. There was a David Banner who was in his own lane. There was a T.I. in his own lane. There was a Jay in his own lane. There was a Nas in his own lane. It seems like everybody's in the same lane.
So what we have to do is we have to find those artists, because I'll give you an example. You have artists who will try to go down that road, and look what happened to their career. We have to support those artists. Whoever they may end up being, we pick those artists, whoever they may end up being, then why can't they have that level of success? The real problem is there's now a new generation who now feel like they don't have to pay for rap music because they have it. So we have to find some kind of way to show that there's still some relevance in us. And I will make a cross reference in this and everything that has to do with the urban culture. You look at Trayvon Martin's death. The things that some of our government officials have said about a young black child's death, I mean, it's appalling.
Right.
So we look at that. Okay, that's what you think about our children. Okay, look at where our music is and how it's been devalued and how there's no value and people don't even feel like they should pay for it. That's the value in what they believe. The things that they think anything connected with urban culture now, they don't feel like there is no value, no anything in it. You're able to disrespect it. You say anything that you want to, even in us in the N-word. I mean, I asked a white friend of mine, I said 10 years ago, would you have called me the N-word? And he said no. And I said, you know why? Because you were either scared or you had respect for our people. And he said, you're right. And I said, so if it's easy for you to call me the N-word now, why is that?
Well, you know,
he said because I either don't fear you or respect you. And I think that's a cultural thing that we have to change.
I think that's our fault because, you know, music is an art form and art is a reflection of life. And we don't show the respect for ourselves that we should. We walk around and call ourselves the N-word. We celebrate the drug culture in our music. We glorify the gang culture. We haven't showed a lot of respect for ourselves.
Right. But historically, you know that there's more to it behind that. That's the reason why I call my album Sex, Drugs, and Video Games. It's because if you only have a certain amount of stimuli, if in our hoods all we get is negativity, every time you see a movie, whether we make that movie or not, we selling drugs, we just got out of jail, or we driving a black Escalade, or our name is Uzi. Okay? We listen to the music that's given to us. Right. That's all we ever hear. I said it in swag. If that's all these kids hear or see, that's all they will ever be.
Right.
True.
So in saying that, there's a reason. Since we got here 400 years ago, we would call the N-word whether we wanted to or not. So we internally accepted it. Now that we regurgitating it, we wonder why we do that. And that's why I said in Sex, Drugs, and Video Games, if life is really a video game, who really has the controller?
Right. No, I absolutely agree.
So in saying that, let's make this transition. I'm asking, New York right now has the power. I'm going to show you. We will give any major clothing label our money, whether it's Louis Vuitton, Gucci, $3,000-$4,000. Right. Don't ask a question. You don't see no billboards with people of culture in it, and we advertise these people more than anybody else in the world and never ask a question. I'm saying right now, I have a system that's set up that will show that the urban culture is still a viable entity. Right now, New York can change and show an example of this. If that's the case and you feel what I'm saying, whether you like David Banner or not, at davidbanner.com right now, I'm asking New York to get up, donate $1. That's all I'm asking. Snoop Dogg, Lil Wayne, A$AP Rocky, all of these folks, it's not really even about no music. Because what I'm going to do, after I get these 2 million emails, after I get these $2 million, I'm going to take $1 million and I'm going to shoot a movie. After I shoot this movie, I'm going to move on. I'm going to try to make us an urban CNN. To me, it's not about the music. It's about us starting to control our own images.
Yeah, but how do we change that?
I'm doing it now.
I'm going to tell you why. Because, you know, you look at 10 years ago, there was positivity out there.
Right.
There was the Cosby Show. There was A Different World. There was Steve Urkel's show. There was a bunch of shows that was positive, still funny. Now what do you have?
You got reality TV.
You got Love and Hip Hop.
But the reason you have that is because it's cheaper.
You got Bad Girls Club.
It's cheaper to produce those kind of shows.
Basketball Wives. You know, it's and those are shooting up the ratings. You got Jersey Shore. And it gets to a point. Could you see a positive show? The only positive show that's on TV, barely, is you got the T.I. show and Lala. That's it. That's it. Out of all the TV shows out there in the world, so what do the kids see? There's kids that aspire to be on Basketball Wives. There's women right now that don't want to have a career because they want to find a basketball wife or a mother effing celebrity or artist. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to live on their ass, live on their hands for the rest of their life. They're going to have a baby by them and they're going to stick them up like everybody else is doing.
So you know what we got to do is when somebody comes along like a David Banner, somebody like yourself, and we're going to make the effort to try to do something different. That means all of us have to rally around that and make sure that happens. Because the truth is we complain about these things, but then it goes back into what do we support. And as much as people say they want better music, I will give them an example. You know this, Death of a Pop Star. What me and Ninth Wonder did. Bruh, from track one all the way down. Dope beats,
Right.
everything. Did it pop? No. What we have to do is we have to find a way to do something positive and make it hot.
Right.
See, that's the problem. You have a lot of people with positive music and positive words. That's why I made sex, drugs, and video games, because at the end of the day, we still have to entertain our people. We're still in competition to those things that we like, because evil stuff, whether we like it or not, it's attractive.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I love the strip club. I'm not going to lie to
Absolutely.
you.
Right.
As much as I talk positivity, as soon as I leave here, I go to Atlanta, and I'm going to be in strokers.
Absolutely. And I said a long time ago, like, I quit complaining about, those reality shows and stuff, because I still support them, because I watch them. Because I like to see the negativity. Whether we agree with it or not, it's entertaining.
So what we have to do is we have to find a way to make positive things entertainment and entertaining. And I think all we need is a balance. And then on top of this, if we're going to do some of this stuff, we need to control it. We need to be the ones that make money off of it. Because even with the reality TV shows, how many people from a reality TV show that you know from an urban situation has left that reality TV show and done anything with themselves?
None. Nene Leakes is the only one. I always say that. Look at Tiffany in New York Parlor. As big as she was, she had 4 shows.
All you can
don't
hope
even
for,
see her no more.
all you can hope for is a spin-off show of your
No,
own.
the only one.
After,
I mean, not in urban, but in the
No, but he said urban.
I mean,
urban.
urban. I mean, us.
None.
Probably the closest.
Nene Leakes.
And look at the
Yeah.
people behind the scenes who are making
Nobody.
this money.
Right.
So I go back to say, New York, if you feel what I'm saying, I have this system that's set up that can totally revolutionize the way that we make money. And I know for a fact, and I told people, I said, imagine when Tip does this. Imagine when Luda does this.
Right.
Imagine when Drake does this, to be able to totally go directly to your fans and then tell your fans what you're going to do to it. 20,000 is going to this nonprofit organization. It's going to this nonprofit organization. And then after this, we're going to make something for ourselves. The only thing that we have to do is continue to support. Even with the movie situations, you have something that'll come out like The Great Debaters, and we say that we want better stuff. Nobody going to see that. Red Tails did okay.
Decent.
It did decent,
Barely.
but not for what it could have done for
right.
our culture.
You're right.
Now, you said you were inspired by Louis C.K.,
Yeah.
the comedian.
Right.
So explain what he did, just so
Well,
everybody who doesn't know.
Well, Louis C.K. did the dopest thing I've ever seen. First of all, he said that he was really tired of doing television shows that wasn't real. Like, man, like if my wife cheat on me, 9 times out of 10, we're going to get a divorce, and we both going to be miserable for the rest of our
Right,
life.
absolutely.
He said, why not do TV shows like that? So he started doing his own television show when he edited his show on FX on his laptop. So I was thinking the same thing. I was like, dude, when I was in Mississippi, I started from $100. I bought 100 CDs, sold them 100 CDs on the corner, made 1,000, bought 1,000 CDs, made $10,000. And I didn't get signed from a perspective of somebody believing in me and signing me. They saw this little homeless dude in his van is getting money. How could we be a part of that? Louis C.K. told his fans, listen, I'm going straight to you. I spent my own money. You guys, y'all have no idea what I spent on this album. 16 videos, 16 of the top stars in the game, dude. Ain't nothing for free. I paid for it all, just like he did. He said, listen, I know y'all can get it for free. I know you can bootleg it, but y'all don't do that. It's me. Just come straight to me. This dude made $1 million in less than a month for going straight to his fans. No cut, no advertisement, no lies, just straight up, this is me, y'all, support me. And I was like, that's what we need to do. We need to go directly to our fans, because you even look at the artists that's not selling right now. They'll go and sell out a stadium,
Yeah, absolutely.
but they can't get their fans to buy music.
Right.
So I'm telling them, if you go to them same fans and be real with them, like, y'all, this is how I eat. This is how I can continue. Just help me. And the fact that there is no pressing, that there's really no pushing out of
the internet now,
well,
yeah.
you going straight to your fans. I can give you this for $1 or whatever you want to donate. The point guard for the Clippers, Mo Williams, donated $1,000 to me. You know, there's a couple people that's giving $100 a week. I mean, just because they say David Banner is not really about your music, I could care less about that. But you're setting up a social structure that if we see that it's successful, that it will happen. And I'm going to say something really quick. People think that society is mad at LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Bosh. Because I'm gonna say it because LeBron left Cleveland or whatever. That's not really the real reason why society is mad at him. You got 3 intelligent black men that got together in a room without any agents, without anybody else and sat down and made decisions for themselves and cut out a lot of middlemen. If Miami is successful, that's going to show other basketball players that, hey, we don't need, like, we are intelligent enough to get together and make our own decision. That's why society is truly mad at them. And they ain't got nothing to do with no basketball. If those three cats can show that they can get together and organize and do something for themselves, imagine how many people that cut out, and imagine how many basketball players are going to do the same thing. That's what I'm doing right now.
It changes the social structure of the NBA. That's why they put it. That's why they trying to put a stop to it now. Like when Chris Paul didn't wanted to get together in LA, it was like, nope, Chris, you're not going nowhere.
That's right.
But
that's the same thing that I'm doing with this music right now, with this 2-in-1 movement.
I got 2 points I want to make. Okay, when you say people giving away free music, that helps a lot of the artists because it helps them get their buzz up and it helps them get show money. Like a guy like a 2 Chainz or a Gucci Mane or even a Wayne. Wayne, before Wayne became this reincarnation of Wayne, he was on the downslide. But then he started putting out the dedication mixtapes and he took off again. So how can you tell an artist that has no buzz, look, man, nobody wants to buy my music right now, so I got to give it away for free to get my buzz up?
Well, the exception to the rule is this. You have certain people that do that and who are successful, but you got to understand, let's look at it from a street perspective. We give a little bit of something free to get people to get enticed and want to come back. But you don't give your whole stash away.
Gotcha.
You don't give the whole game away. It's to the point now where we have devalued the music. If you give it away, that's just like if they let everybody up here to host a show. What value would you all have? You wouldn't have no value. At some point, we have to make a decision that there's just certain things that we're not going to do. And it's cool to get hot and do what you have to do to get hot. But if you're giving away so much stuff at a certain point, a person's going to feel like, well, you done gave me 30, 40 songs. Why should I pay for this? I'll just wait until after this is over and then you go back to your mixtape stage and I get that. Right. There is no value. We have devalued ourselves. Country and Western folks don't do that.
Absolutely.
And guess what? Their music is still valuable. You don't hear a gospel mixtape. You don't hear a rock mixtape.
But you know what? And I know we've been talking a long time. But you know what? In those other genres, the difference is music is music. And in our genre, once you get to a certain age, once you start looking old, once you start doing things that grown people do, you're not cool anymore. And we see it time and time and time with every artist out there.
Well, that's because
the same reason why somebody like an Elton John could put out an album and still sell zillions of records. Somebody like, Elvis, they could find lost tapes, put out music and sell millions of records. But then you look at these artists that were popping in the 90s, selling millions and millions of records and can't catch a break right now because it's not cool anymore.
That's because they're still trying to do the things they were doing in the 90s. You look at somebody like Jay, who raps from a perspective of what he's doing right now.
Jay is the only artist in that time, in that age.
But if more artists did that, then I think more people would buy an older rap.
What I'll say is this. I think it really goes, and I didn't want to go into this. I really think it goes back into just how we feel about ourselves. I go back to that. It's like we don't see any value in ourselves, so we'll find any reason. That's one of the things that happened to hip-hop. Hip-hop is no longer about music anyway. It's not about the hot records. It's about who you done have sex with, how many people you done kill, how much dope you done. It don't have nothing to do with, I ask the question, can he rap? That's all I didn't care back in the day if Ice Cube was really doing this stuff. He portrayed the story and he told the story better than anybody else about what black folks were going through in the hood. Right. So he was the storyteller. In the Bible, the people that really did the stuff, they wasn't the ones that was writing the stories. They wasn't the storytellers. Right. We need to get back to it being about talent, and it's about everything else. And what ends up happening, and I'll say this and I get off my box. What they did to our music is now there's no distribution, there's no record stores, no more tower, no none of that. Then we devalued our music by giving everything away for free. Then guess what the music industry did to us? Sidestepped us and started getting on dubstep. So now we can't get no deals, no jobs, no endorsement because we have devalued ourselves, and then the music industry then went on about their business.
I think one of the worst things that ever happened was when major labels really started going down south and signing artists, because we came up on the independent aspect of things, whether it was Cash Money, whether it was No Limit, whether it was Rap-A-Lot. They were doing everything you're talking about doing right now, they were doing. And if they did it now, it would be easier because you had the internet.
Well,
you have the internet.
I think, I would just ask people, man, regardless of how you feel, this is a movement. And I'll just ask New York right now, davidbanner.com, just support and make me stick to it. You know what I'm saying? It's $1. You getting value.
And be Charlamagne, are y'all going to go on davidbanner.com and donate.
I mean, I buy David Banner's
Okay,
albums
there we
now, so
go.
if I can get it for $1, you damn right I'm gonna
What
buy
about
it.
you?
Damn, that's why I asked them.
I was just
I ain't gotta ask
asking.
me.
And let me tell you something. I just real quick, not to get off on a tangent. I love the fact that you sitting on a big black ball. That is beautiful. I'm attracted.
Well, it's good for my posture, you know, make sure my back is right.
Can I get closer to you?
Now, see the guy as he's getting closer to Angela Yee.
Yes.
Do you know what DMX and David Banner have in
Listen to
common?
this.
What do DMX and David Banner have in common?
Guess.
They're obsessed with the black ball.
No, besides being obsessed with the black man.
What?
Guess it's not drugs.
They're both very honest.
No, both their licenses are damn near pretty shot. David Banner's license is horrible.
What you talking about?
Your driver's license.
How you know?
I know. I heard that you got a letter from
You know,
Mississippi
Emmy's
that
a
said
cop.
you cannot speed anymore.
Oh yeah, I did. I that's one of my vices.
I heard that you
speed
speed constantly with
like 180 miles
180
an hour.
miles an hour. Yeah.
I literally got a letter from the government saying that if I got like 1 or 2 more tickets,
That's
that
it?
indefinitely.
For
Where were
life.
you going so fast?
I don't know.
Back road to
I'm gonna be
Mississippi.
honest with you.
Strip club.
There's not many. I know there's not many. Not just black folks, but people in general that can go as fast as I can go, and get away with it. Like if I get a ticket, I can pay for it.
Right.
And I told a cop that one time. He really got mad at me. He was like, "Well, how can you do this? And can you do this?" And I looked at him in his face and said, "Cause I can afford to." And he couldn't say nothing.
Right.
Like, dude, I can pay for it. Like, lawyers, whatever.
Now, Banner,
I
as
can
smart
do
as you shit. Come on.
Well, let me ask you a question. Wouldn't you rather me do it that way than some of the other ways that I used to?
Absolutely.
You know me.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. And even in the music, like people say, how can you be that smart, man, and do some of the stuff you do? I just told you, I still love this. I still go to the strip club, do something. We're still human.
That's the yin and yang of life.
Yeah, it is. And I'm gonna continue driving fast.
Well, let's shift gears real quick.
Right.
You know, you've been very vocal about the Trayvon Martin situation, right? So I want to ask you, what causes the negative perception of black men in America? What continues to cause that negative perception, and what can we do to change that perception in the future, if anything?
My personal views is that American society fears that, it's my personal opinion, this is not the opinion of all black people, they fear retribution. You know, and historically, you know, people of culture have been treated very bad. And you look at, you know, the white male period in general, he's probably been the most aggressive person historically with every culture, but is never looked at as being aggressive. Black folks don't do nothing to nobody but themselves for the most part. Think about it. Mm-hmm. We all know if we do anything to any white person that we going to jail forever.
Absolutely.
We may break in their cars and their houses and take some of their little, you know, small little things and trinkets, but we know if we do something to white folks that we going to jail forever. We don't do nothing. We are aggressive towards ourselves, so why is everybody so afraid? What have we really done to anybody but ourselves? And I say in the Trayvon Martin case, dude, if it's a white tee, think about it. Anything that has to do with hip hop. If it's a white tee, if it's a hoodie, if it's anything besides what they feel comfortable with, it's aggressive or it's threatening. So it don't matter whether it's a white tee or whether it's a hoodie. It don't matter. Just say that you scared of. Mm-hmm. Just say it, because that's what you really feel about us. And the one thing I love about Southern white people is at least they're honest.
Very
and
true.
they tell you how they feel about you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing that it don't have nothing about us changing. And the one thing that our parents do to us that I don't like, we shouldn't try to make anybody feel comfortable. Because culturally, we think about it. Mentally, we messed up. Because we get around other cultures of people and we duck our head and we become docile just to make them. That ain't good for our children.
No, you're right.
You
But
know?
it's more than just being comfortable. And I know we got to go, but it's more than just being comfortable. It's also a matter of being safe.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because, you know, I have a little black boy.
Right.
And I'm going to tell him, you know, my son is black.
He
I'm going
is?
to tell him, the first thing I'm going to tell him is, you don't wear a hoodie when you go outside. Not because your father didn't wear a hoodie, because I want to protect you. I want to make sure that white person that you see, that police officer that pulls you over, is not scared and won't bust your ass because he thinks that you're quote unquote.
So you want to make them comfortable.
Let me ask you a question, though.
Yes, sir.
And this is something one of my best friends told me, and it really changed my idea about this case. Trayvon Martin, for the most part, did everything that we taught our kids to do. All right, you ask, what did I do? What's the problem? Okay, get on the phone, try to call somebody, try to walk away from the situation. Okay, now you feel threatened, defending yourself.
Right.
It's to the point, unless we get some legislation, because I say this all the time, America only respects fear of finances. If they don't feel like something will happen to them if they do something to our children, it will never stop, no matter what you teach your kids. Or you hit them in your pocket. Trayvon did everything. He wasn't carrying no running down the street with no television. He didn't have, they didn't see him coming out no house, out no car. He didn't do anything but was walking to the store and died.
Right.
So it really doesn't matter what you teach your kid. If a person feels that way and you're the wrong color at the wrong time, it's going down. Sean Bell, Oscar Grant. It happens daily in our hood and is reported weekly.
Right.
So there's going to have to be some level of legislation, or they feel like something is going to happen to them, or it's never going to change.
And believe that hoodie or not, he still was coming for Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman.
No doubt.
Whether or not he had on a hoodie, it's not because of a hoodie.
Guys, forget the hoodie.
We gotta go.
Okay, but don't you think we amplify it when we put tattoos on our face? You know what I mean? That's a bit much.
But what about the bikers?
Yeah, white people have tattoos on their face all the time.
But they don't have. But we know they don't have a fear of white skin like they do black skin.
Well, so that means that what we have to do is we have to find a way to affect fear of finances. It goes back to the Louis Vuitton. It goes back to the Democrats. Perfect example. We're democratic without making the Democrats work for it. Right. That's why they don't do nothing for us. That's why they don't market towards us, because like the mixtapes, we give it all away.
Well, DavidBanner.net is where you need to go.
DavidBanner.com.
DavidBanner.com is where you need to go online, donate $1 or more, get his album.
I'm going to watch them,
It's
David
for a
Banner. I'm going to
good
make sure they
cause.
do this right after you leave today.
I know you are.
Do it today.
The album's up now.
No. You can
donate.
pre-order. You can
gotcha.
donate now. But we're doing the video and the song every week anyway. So
I appreciate you stopping through. Anytime you're in New York, come on by.
Thank you,
Banner.
brother.
It's the Breakfast Club on Power 105.1. David Banner.